Hey, what's up out there, guys? I hope you're all fantastic. I want to thank you, as always, for stopping by the channel. I have an 80s throwback review for you guys today, just in getting ready for the over-the-top spectacle that is going to be Hobbs and Shaw. I wanted to look back at another film that showcased a couple of A-list talents getting together on screen, a film that, in my opinion, just delivers loads of great action, cheesy one-liners, that being 1989's Tango Cash, starring Sylvester, Stallone, and Kurt Russell. These two mega stars paired up to play a couple of LAPD lieutenants that are much different than each other, but together they're framed for a crime they didn't commit. They're going to have to team up and find out who set them up and to prove their innocence, and I think it's just one of the gems out of the decade. Recently coming off of Over the Top, Rambo 3, and the prison action movie Lockup, Tango Cash would be the last movie of the 80s for Stallone, who would play Ray Tango. Kurt Russell, he was just coming off of Overboard with Goldie Hawn, as well as starring in Tequila Sunrise. He actually took this character of Gabriel Cash over when Patrick Swayze turned it down to instead appear in another 80s classic called Roadhouse. It's also been known that Russell turned down the role of Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon, and for those that wonder what that would have looked like, they can really enjoy this character that has been noted as being loosely inspired by Riggs, and it's pretty easy to see while watching. I just have a natural affinity for this movie. I've seen it countless times over the years, and even I'll be the first to tell you that some of the dialogue is very cheesy. A lot of the jokes do not hold up so well over time, but a lot of them do, and I think the story is constantly moving forward. It's entertaining. The 80s action movie nostalgia is constantly present, and most importantly, the chemistry between Russell and Stallone is awesome, which makes the more lighthearted comedic tone just blend perfectly with the hard-hitting action. Plus, the charm and screen presence from both of these guys are really able to help sell even the campiest of lines. I mean, Stallone was great as the uptight, reserved persona, and Russell was awesome as the gruff, more reckless counterpart, and it does result in some genuine humor. There's no doubt the self-awareness of this film overall and the comedic timing between Stallone and Russell are what make this movie just the fun, nostalgic ride that it is, because simply having two big names on a film does not mean that it's going to translate well on screen. We've seen it before with Robert De Niro and Eddie Murphy in the 2002 comedy Showtime that was just missing that chemistry. Gene Hackman and Dan Aykroyd were as well in 1990's Loose Cannons, and the same would really go for Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan in Cop Out, which was just a terrible movie for many reasons, but their lack of chemistry being one of them. But here, two big stars really worked extremely well off one another, and the result is a tandem that creates just an energy which does carry this film as it should. And I would say for the most part the storyline holds up pretty well despite being a little bit on the formulaic side. It's fun to get the intros from Tango and Cash in their comfortable surroundings, then they're framed and the story provides some fun fish out of water scenarios in the prison sequence in the second act that really does a good job of showcasing both Russell and Stallone's comedic efforts as well as their action movie personas. We also get Teri Hatcher to come in as a great third character that really gives the main narrative a comedic subplot that at the same time is able to be used in breaking down the walls between Tango and Cash with some humorous results as they slowly grow to becoming friends. We get an adrenaline-pumping, action-packed prison escape, then the story takes Tango and Cash just on this mission to prove their innocence. It creates a fun, engaging atmosphere. The action and the humor is nicely fitted together without feeling overly out of place, and I think even when the dialogue gets a little too campy, and it certainly does, it still has sort of a charm to it. Plus, with the main plot progression, there's this subtle but consistent building of the friendship between Tango and Cash that does have a surprisingly authentic feel to it while they're trying to track down their nemesis that framed them, played by the great Jack Palance, who I will admit was a little bit too cartoonish, but still with his on-screen gravitas, I think he did serve the purpose of this character nicely. And surrounding the two leads was a collection of solid 80s character actors like Philip Tan, Brian James, James Hong, and Robert Zadar, and a few others that really give this movie plenty of bad guys to go up against Tango and Cash along the way. I think they, as well as the story, give this movie plenty of just classic fight scenes, shootouts, chases, explosions, and all the bravado you could want from an 80s action movie, but it's really complemented nicely by the comedic charm between Stallone and Russell as they just grow to become buddies, all the while proving their innocence and redeeming their reputations. The third act is a great time. It still holds up well with this wide open backdrop of this quarry and some fun nostalgic practical effects. This movie, for the sake of over-the-top spectacle, conveniently gives Tango and Cash their very own cue, much like Bond did to provide them with this beefed up van with mounted machine guns to just create a show as Tango and Cash race through a quarry. They're pursued by SUVs with rocket launchers, monster trucks, and this oversized construction equipment to create a fantastic stretch of just one-liners and explosions that only get bigger as each one passes, and it's still pretty damn cool to watch today. But with 2 stars, you need 2 times the action. This isn't just a mission to prove their innocence, it's a rescue mission. Our characters are then provided a convenient arsenal. The gunplay begins. Of course, the tides turn into the favor of the villains to build some tension. Then we get the fight sequences delivering some trademark 80s ass-kicking. And while it isn't amazing compared to today's standards, it's still Stallone and Russell delivering a beating, and in my opinion, you can never go wrong with that. And overall, I think Tango and Cash is still a great time today. I'm giving it 85% on the entertainment meter. This movie certainly does have its cheesy spots, but the chemistry, the humor, the action just create an energetic time period atmosphere that's just solidified by an amazingly cheesy soundtrack and 2 just great performances from Stallone and Russell, who knew exactly what this film was supposed to be. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys, share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.